how doctors can sometimes guilt parents as to them being the cause of their child's birth injury. Want to know what I'm getting at here? Stay with me as I share with you this very important information. Hello, I'm Marcus Boston, and I am a childbirth injury and medical malpractice attorney practicing law in the state of Maryland, and I would like to quickly talk with you today about one way in which doctors can sometimes guilt mothers and fathers as to them being the cause of their baby's birth injury. Now, for today's video, I'm going to essentially talk about how genetics can sometimes play a role as to the cause of a baby's birth injury. And for a lot of the calls, or sometimes we get calls coming into the office, we already are, or mothers I should say, a lot of times are already having a hard time when we are dealing with birth-related injuries, because the mothers can sometimes feel that it was their fault. It was something that they did that caused their baby to have an injury at birth. Even though mom had, taken all of the instructions and listened to all of the instructions from the doctors, were kept up on all of their prenatal visits, did all of these things, and we can have a birth injury occur. And so for some mothers, this can be a lot. This can be a lot to swallow. And for today's video, I want to talk about how genetics, or how doctors and hospitals, how they use genetics as a way to defend these types of cases. Now, in some cases, a birth injury can be caused by something genetic. I mean, there can be a lot of things that can happen that can lead to a baby developing or having a birth injury due to genetics. But for the purpose of today's video, I want to talk about when doctors can suggest that it's genetics, and when other doctors take a look at it, or if there's a second opinion or even a third opinion in some instances, stepping in to take a look at things, this genetic piece, it falls by the wayside. And how this can show up is, in some cases, you can have parents, what they'll do is they will hear the genetic aspect, they will hear that, and then they will go and they will get a second opinion, or they will have another doctor or medical expert to take a look at things. And what some parents can find in some instances is that it was not genetic, or the cause of their baby's birth injury, it had nothing to do with genetics. What it was a birth trauma. It was something that the hospital, the doctors failed to notice or failed to do, and that is what led to the baby's birth injury. Now, for this video, I'm not going to get deep into all of the ways in which, things that can happen that can lead to a birth injury. For example, not reading the fetal heart monitor the right way, or, not taking certain intrauterine resuscitation measures, failing to do an emergency C-section. I'm not getting into that today because there's a lot of videos on my website and YouTube page that deal with these aspects. What I want to just remind you is that in some instances, doctors and hospitals, they may come at you with the genetic side of things, but that's not always the case. Sometimes it's not a bad idea to go ahead and get a second opinion. All right, so why have I taken the time today to talk with you about this really important information? Because more than likely, if you're watching this video right now, you may feel that your child's birth-related injury was something that happened to you, and you've been bombarded with all of this genetic information, but you've talked to maybe another doctor, and they've kind of taken you in another direction. Now you have questions. Well, if you have all this going on and you would like to speak with me further, this is what I invite you to do. You can go ahead and pick up the phone and give me a call. I can be reached at 301-850-4832, or if you prefer, you can also send me an email to medicalinjury@bostonlawllc.com. Remember, you can also reach me toll free at 1-833-4BABY-HELP. All right, that's going to be it for today's quick educational video. Again, I'm Marcus Boston, and I'm one of the childbirth injury and medical malpractice attorneys practicing law at Boston Law Group, LLC in the state of Maryland. And we will see you next time. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day.